Alright, Salty Beauty, so I'm just going to show you how to highlight and contour your face. So I know this looks really weird, but I've already done this side of my face. And I'm just going to show you before I buff everything out what it looks like before it looks like this. Highlighting contouring is just basically highlighting the places you want to accentuate, and contouring is just receding everything else that you don't want to show too much. So if you have a wide forehead, you will contour the forehead. So I don't have a big forehead, so I just basically use the contour as more of a bronzer type effect instead of trying to cut out a lot of corners out of my forehead or anything like that. So I just lightly place the darker contour here, and I'm just going to show you what colors I use. And you want to use something that's going to be a few shades darker than your face if you're contouring, so that way it'll stand out. Well, it's not to stand out, but enough that you'll get the effect you're looking for. Alright, so this is my concealer palette. This is not Salty. This is from Coastal Scents. It's like $12 or something for all of this. So for contouring, I mix these two colors together. And for highlighting, I use this one down here at the end. For highlighting, you want to use something that's not your own, that's not matching your skin tone, but something that's a little bit lighter, a little bit brighter. And I like something that's got like almost a salmon-y type tone to it, just because it brightens up the face a lot better, and it covers up the blue cast of you get from the under eye circles. So alright, I'm sorry guys, I'm really tired and I've got allergies, and so I'm not feeling that great. Alright, so I've highlighted underneath. I'm going to use something else to point with. So I've highlighted this all underneath. I'm just going to add a little bit more. So I use this as a triangle here. Alright, so you want to highlight this whole section right here. It's like this triangle right here under your face. So this is your cheekbone. You want to highlight the cheekbone, and you always want to highlight right here on top of your brow bone, and that'll give you a lifted effect. And I also right here in the middle of your forehead. Depending on the size of your forehead and how much you want to cover up, that's how much you want to. If you have a smaller forehead and you want to make it bigger, then you're going to highlight more up here. But if you have a larger forehead and you want to make it smaller, then you're going to bring that contour down as small as you want to make your forehead. So I highlight this whole triangle area type here. Triangle, and then this triangle. And then I also do right down very front of my nose, top of my nose right here. Don't do this because you don't want a shiny bulb on your nose, or bright bulb. We're actually going to put contour there. So I just like that. And don't worry, we're going to buff all this out in a second. Okay? And then for my cheekbones, I like my cheekbones to stand out more than anything, since I don't think mine are that prominent. So that's basically what I focus on when I'm contouring. So it's just another triangle effect. The widest part is going to be here towards the ear. And you want to take it back underneath the hairline there so it all blends into the ear. So just this whole area. And don't go past, see that smile line I had right there? Don't go past that with the contour. And I almost make it into a little C, just to carve out where my cheekbone would be, or where I want it to stand out. So everything that's light is going to pop. So if I carve this out, that's going to cut into that cheekbone and make this even pop even more. Alright? And next I have put highlighter right under where I've contoured that cheekbone out. just going to add a little bit more to show you. So this right here, I'm going to take that like that. And when we buff this out, we're going to buff in circles so this will blend all together. I like my neck and my jawbone to be a little bit slimmer because I've gained some weight recently. So in order to do that, we put the contour right under that highlighter, and we also drag, wrong color, hold on. And we also drag that contour down. If you want your neck to look thinner, then you're gonna drag that contour down. So then, since I've done that, I'm gonna add the lighter color, the highlighter color right here. I know this looks stupid because the camera is so deceiving because it's backwards. Okay, so then you want highlighter right here, and you're just going to drag it down. So if you're doing both sides, that slims the neck, and if you do just highlight here, it's going to give you the effect of you're highlighting this whole section, so it's going to lift everything up. All right, and the last place I put a contour is right here under my lip, and then I highlight my Cupid's bow right there. You put contour here because if you have smaller lips on the bottom, then you want to recede this part right here to make them look bigger. So you want to just lightly put a darker contour there. And the Cupid's bow is just so you have that bright effect right there by your lips, which is sexy. Okay. All right. So now, since I have all that contour, oh, I forgot to tell you about my eyeballs. If you don't have a prominent crease, I like to contour this just a tiny bit, just in there like that, just to give you a more prominent crease. Okay, so now we're gonna go in and buff everything out. Now what I like to do is I'm using all cream concealers. Now I'm going to go in with our Fabulously Flawless foundation, and I'm going to buff everything out with this foundation. This also gives you texture in your skin, so it doesn't, I mean, your skin is not flat or anything, so you want some texture to your skin, and I think this is one of the better ways to make it look, give you some more dimension than just using just all one product. Okay, so all I've done is I've got a brush like this, and I've just did that to the brush and got some foundation on there. Just tap it off. All right, and you want to start at your neck. You guys see that? Because you want to get rid of most of the product before you get into the rest of your face. So I always start down here. So you're just gonna start buffing and you're just going to start working up. Make sure you get back into the hairline. You see how it starts to blend out? If you feel like you've ran out of foundation, I mean, I only put a little bit on the lid, and I'm just using what has fallen off of the brush or what I tapped off. Because you're not going to need a lot of foundation. This is just to get everything to buff together. I also didn't mention, you want to go in and cover your blemishes too. I had already done that before I started, so cover your blemishes and then go in with the contour and highlighting. Alright, I left my under eye unbuffed because I'm going to go in with a smaller brush so I can get closer to the underneath my eye there. Alright, so I'm just going to go in with this more of a dome shaped brush. It's a lot smaller than the other one. And I'm just going to get a little bit more foundation on there and tap it off. And I'm just going to go in here and just, and this way it'll get as close to the lash line as possible. Alright, so you guys can see, I mean, look at the big difference it's made. Now that you're all done, you're going to go in and with a darker powder, you're going to go and just kind of redo everything you just did, but in powder form. Alright, so I like using a darker powder like this. This is from CoverGirl. It's the Queen Collection in Q110. It's a brown bronze. And it's a matte finish. You don't want anything too shimmery to go back in there and highlight or contour with. And then you're going to take a contour brush. This is your angled face brush. That's what you're going to use. So you're just going to go in there and lightly just, you can still see a little bit of the lines. You're just going to go in there and just touch up everything. Alright, so you guys can start to tell what a difference it makes. I am using, yeah, it's not another salty product, Smashbox Flash Powder in Flash, I don't know, the name is rubbed off, but it's a golden powder. I haven't made one of these from Salty yet. I just haven't found the right ingredient I want to use that isn't in a gold. So, all right, so you're just going to do the same, almost the same thing as you did with the highlighter before, except you're not going to, obviously you're not going to highlight right under here underneath your eye, but so you're just going to right on top of your cheekbone, probably from that bone, that prominent bone right there, back. And in a C shape right there on top of your brow bone as well. So little C, can you see how that's highlighted that section there? And I'm using this little, I got this at the craft store too. This is a, I don't know, I think it's a low Cornell brush, I'm not sure, but the name's rubbed off. But it's a goat hair mop brush. It's just cheaper than buying, and it's just as soft. Okay, so you see how it gives you that nice glow? All right, and I go in the top of my nose. And a Cupid's bow. And you don't need a lot. This stuff is sparkly. And then right here. And the biggest thing is just to make sure that you go and you buff everything out. Do you see what a big difference that makes? And also, if you have a wider nose and you want to slim it down, you also want to contour. I don't do it too much just because I don't have a big nose, so I don't want to make it super skinny. You put the contour right here between, right where that indentation is, right there at the side of your nose, and you bring it down on the side right there. And then you're gonna buff it out like that. And that'll slim down your nose. And depending how wide your nose and how skinny you want to make it, then that's how far. Just think of this as what everybody's gonna notice right here. And everything else, see the shadow it makes? That's where you're gonna contour. Now, if you're got a wider base at your nose, then you're gonna contour all the way down to the end here. And that'll cut that off like that. See? I forgot to tell you where to put the blush. I got too far ahead of myself. Okay, so I'm gonna give myself just a pop of color here, right here. And you're gonna put it right here. All right. So I'm just using this blush in Candy Shop by Salty. It's just this bright pink, peachy color. All right, you don't need a lot, so I'm just using this little brush from Bare Minerals. That's all you need on there. It's very pigmented, so. All right, so right there. And you just press it. And then I'll go back in and you just want to put it where you naturally flush. So just right there. Plus, I see people put their blush like way down here. You look more youthful if you keep it up here towards your actual cheekbone. And I also put a little bit on my forehead, especially if you want a more of a bronzy look. Just because when you naturally out in the sun, you're not just turning brown. Your face has a little bit of redness to it, and it's more believable if you put it in the places you're naturally tanning, because you're naturally getting a little pink in those areas as well. So it's a more believable. So then I just go in and just buff lightly just to blend that together there. So yeah. Oh, and a little bit, just a little bit down there. Okay, that's it now. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.